Good morning, YouTube. It is Saturday morning. It is a back and bicep day. We are rocking the golden era vintage gym, vintage genetics, Wesley Visser special. Filling it out quite a bit more than we did before, so we'll have to re-up whenever we go to the Netherlands in March. Officially have my product code for Modern Aminos, Bo Alex. So for some great products, great research peptides, SLU PP332, which is essentially an exercise mimetic. It basically is a exercise in a pill. Methylene blue, great for reducing oxidative stress in the cell, but also great for anxiety, mood, energy, focus, and overall well-being. Zeus juice for the pumps, that's what I'm working with. Those three compounds are what I'm working with this morning, on top of some field rations from Troponin Nutrition and some non-stem pre-workout from Evogen, but nothing else in the system right now. We're just gonna get after some back, get after some biceps, keep growing, keep pushing, and high carbs yesterday, so we're gonna put those to work. Cool thing is, since I filmed or started this, I've already gotten several notifications of orders using my promo code for Modern Aminos. So really appreciate that. I really don't get all that much from it, to be honest. I just get like store credit, and they send me products whenever they're doing like new launches and stuff, early access to new products. So it's not like I'm making a fortune off of it, but it is a great company, super fast shipping, great products, and really just a great resource for being able to optimize whatever your goals are. So lifestyle, weight loss, sleep, recovery, pain, rehab, obviously bodybuilding, performance training. So highly recommend check it out. And if you have any questions, just drop in the comments below and I'll help you kind of put together like what would be maybe ideal for you specifically. Yeah, so pull downs here, trying to focus on creating width in the back. After this, we'll do some chest supported rows, focus more on density, building up some of that mid back, creating some more depth and dimension. So when we're hitting those side poses and everything, we don't look like a piece of paper. Careful in the bathroom. I said careful in the bathroom with your socks. I spilled a little bit of pre-workout. I still need to clean it up a little bit. But I threw a paper towel down to soak it up. I just don't want you to wet your socks. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, so chest supported rows, again, more focused on density in the upper back. So thinking more like front to back, creating some size there. Definitely still more lat biased, but not really building as much width necessarily. Just the mechanism of action in terms of you moving through that range of motion, you're gonna really use a lot more of those mid-back fibers, rhomboids, lower traps, etc. And so not using as much rear delt, teres, things like that. Still getting the lats heavily engaged. So that's where I kind of conceptualize more of a density approach with this movement as opposed to creating width with like a pull down. Whew. Okay, so we're gonna move on, hit some DC rows, some single arm pull downs, get into some isolation work with some straight arm pull downs, and then just get into some bicep work. So not a long one, but just trying to get as much stimulus as we can, different angles, different implements, and just keep the intensity really, really high for everything. So single arm pull downs here, kind of have the seat at a little bit lower of an angle. And so that way I can really just emphasize keeping that elbow in front of me the whole time to try and just keep that lat recruitment as high as possible for the majority of the range of motion. Obviously we're gonna lose a little bit in certain phases, like when you down to the bottom, that lat is already kind of shortened to the point where you're not gonna feel a whole lot of contraction. But good stretch at the top, a lot of good quality tension throughout the entire rep. And then of course, just controlling the eccentric just a little bit. So aggressive with the pull, a little less aggressive with the lengthening phase. Ooh. Just get a little stretch at the end there. But we are moving on now. Gonna hit those DC rows, low kind of cable pulley, leaning forward, trying to get a lot of lower lat activation. And then we'll just be on to some accessory work. Yeah, the DC row, I've found this variation to be just a little easier because I'm too short for the other variation. So a little bit less setup. Plus we already have the bench here from the other movements that we just did. So it's a little easier all around. Just get a good deep stretch and then contracting through the entire lat, but predominantly feeling sensation in the lower lat, which is pretty unique, pretty rare when it comes to back exercises. You're essentially kind of leaning forward to do a pull down, but your arms are functioning kind of more like a row. So it's kind of just forcing that elbow path much lower and kind of like in towards your groin a little bit.
Yeah, so combining this movement with the straight arm pull down, essentially full spectrum lat activation. We're getting that top end, most lengthened range at the top with the standing straight arm pull down, and then we're getting more shortened contraction in that bottom phase with the pullover motion. So trying to just isolate the lat as much as possible without the grip and other things getting too fatigued. So you need to stop warming up over there. Just get into it. One more set here, and then we'll go to a more shortened bias motion. So probably some preacher curl variation, whether we use the easy bar or the machine. And then we'll be done and fueling up. Wow. Skin splitting pumps. Just kind of drop setting these, trying to get a lot of volume, a lot of stimulus, a lot of blood flow. Again, kind of the idea that your body knows you're doing like 3 sets of anything, or it's lifting a certain weight or anything like that. It's kind of ridiculous. Really, when it comes down to muscle growth, training, resistance training in general, is, are you imposing enough stress on the muscle to force it to want to change, to force it to have to adapt? So whether you're doing, straight sets, drop sets, all those things, it's really not all that crucial in comparison to just working really hard and focusing on going towards failure for everything that you do. All right, we'll drop down one more time. The only time in which really like failure is a concept we should be a little bit more like weary of is just the systemic fatigue to the nervous system. So if you're, starting off and doing, your first chest movement of the day and you go to failure on that set, all your subsequent chest movements are probably going to be systemically negatively impacted. So one thing just to kind of consider is save your failure towards the very end so your nervous system doesn't get too overwhelmed and not recover, because really when it comes down to weightlifting, using the same loads consistently, it's more of a nervous system thing than it is like a chemical, fuel or, physical product of the muscle situation. Your nervous system is going to limit you a lot more than all those other factors to protect you from hurting yourself, from utilizing too much fuel, utilizing all your muscle glycogen. Like, you're not going to fully deplete muscle glycogen. Your nervous system is not going to allow that. So it's going to be constantly going through cycles of trying to take from other areas to fuel the muscle, because we got to survive, and all of our energy systems have to have a little bit of something. Otherwise, it's not good. Ooh. Okay. Quick little pump check. And then we got a little bit of mobility with Ian, and some food, some cardio, and just keeping our legs up in the air, resting today. Let's check it. I don't know if I can ever get the shirt off without tearing. I gotta just get nothing but tearaways. We got a pretty good chest pump without even doing chest today. So we got a good chest pump without even doing chest today.